I've been playing rhythm games for the past 20 years or so, from Frequency and Amplitude on the PlayStation to Dance Dance Revolution that my friend had to specially import from Japan and jerry-rig our console to play correctly, and to more modern games like DJ Max and mobile games like Cytus and Demo. Throw in the variety of crazy music games you can find at game centers here in Japan, and you could say it's been a favorite hobby of mine for most of my adult life. So when I ran into Muse Dash on Steam one day, I wasn't really sure what to think. But now that I've had it for a few months, I want to share my impressions. This game is great! From the cute characters and backgrounds to the sometimes crazy frenetic action of more difficult tracks. From start to finish, there's a lot to love here. The controls are extremely easy, and the game offers a very smooth learning curve for beginner players. Muse Dash doesn't hold your hand forever though, and the higher level songs can be a real challenge. Overall, Muse Dash is a fun game I would suggest to those who enjoy the art style and music and want something casual to enjoy. Before we continue, I should address what I think are the core components to a rhythm game. First, gameplay. Of course, controls in a music game should be easy to master, but more than that, how does the game make you feel? Is it engaging and fun, or only interested in you hitting notes a bunch of times? Second, visuals. Rhythm games have some sort of aesthetic they're going for, but is the game itself visually appealing? Are the notes easy to see, or is it all just random flashing lights? Visuals can often make or break a game. Third, music. This one's obvious. Most music games will have a variety of music from different genres in an effort to appeal to everyone. It's true that if you don't like the music choices a game offers, you probably won't play it, but great music alone doesn't ensure a great game. So, how does Muse Dash fare in these three core components? Let's take a look.
Music. Ready? Go!
In Muse Dash, you take the role of one of the Muse girls and run to the right in front of a very colorful background. When an enemy gets in your way, you bop them to the beat. Sometimes you have to hold a note, and there are the occasional obstacles you'll either have to jump over or stay on the ground to avoid, but the default controls are as simple as can be. Hit J or K to perform an attack on the ground, and use D or F to jump and attack the air. You'll notice very quickly that the enemies are also color-coded. Red enemies are those on the ground, while blue enemies are always in the air. This is a very nice touch, as in more difficult levels, the enemies start coming at you so quickly that it would be difficult to instinctively know which button to press without this visual cue. There's also a small audio cue when you hit most enemies perfectly, and a slightly different one when you hit them just a bit off and get a great score instead. I'm a big fan of music games adding these cues, as without them you're just hitting keys in a vacuum. I like the audio feedback that I'm on the correct beat while also not being distracting. I guess what I'm saying is, I like positive feedback. Games should do this more often, and not just grind your willingness to live into dust! Along with the normal enemies and hold notes, you'll have punching bags that need to be hit a few times before they're defeated, and a boss-style enemy that is unique to each stage. These bosses will sometimes throw enemies at you or deploy saw blades that must be avoided. They will also try to attack you directly. You can see them winding up for a single shot where you must hit them with the exact timing to knock them back. Or they will act much like the punching bag enemies from before where you have to hit them a bunch of times. I think the addition of these boss characters adds some much needed variety to the gameplay. The enemies they shoot out start much closer to you than enemies just coming into frame, making it harder to react in time. Moreover, you have to keep an eye on them to make sure you're ready to defend against a direct attack. I'm sad to say that, however hard you might try, you never truly defeat these boss enemies, and they always get to beat a hasty retreat. I'll get you eventually, you pumpkin-driving bastard. Missing an enemy or running into an obstacle will cause you to lose a bit of HP, which you can see at the bottom of the screen. Lose all of your HP and your muse falls over, and that's the end of the line. However, over the course of the stage, there are some heart pickups that you can get that restore your life. along with blue notes that score you some extra points. There are also special characters and skins that can restore health or increase your score, but I'll get into that a bit later. As you go along and bop the baddies, the blue gauge over your HP will start to fill. When it's full, it automatically starts a fever bonus time, where the next few seconds you score more points with each successful baddie bop. If you want to hunt down the real high scores, you'll have to change this to manual though, and find the exact right timing to trigger it. As for the muses themselves, the original game had 3, but recently added a new one as a collaboration with Groove Coaster. There's Bean, the tomboyish in-your-face go-getter, Buro, the adorable schoolgirl who rides a hammer-wielding panda, and Marija, the elegant one who exudes class and has purple-pink eyes because anime. And finally, there is Yume from Groove Coaster, but she wasn't in the base game, so I'm just going to ignore her. Each of the muses also have a variety of outfits that can be unlocked through the course of the gameplay. As you finish a level, you'll earn XP and increase your level, which in turn unlocks costumes and new backgrounds while stages are loading. It's a nice little thing to keep you playing, to see all of the adorable pictures you can earn. However, the costumes offer more than just a visual change from the muses. They also grant various abilities. For example, Idolburo offers a 50% increase in XP after clearing a stage, so I'd very much suggest using her when you're trying to unlock something. Or Little Devil Marija, who offers a 20% higher score with each hit, but loses 10 HP per second. You can also combine these abilities with Elfins, which are little floating friends you take along with you to each stage. Each offers a different bonus. Some increase your fever time, or have hearts that heal you for extra. It's a novel idea trying to combine different Elfins and costumes. However, a dominant strategy emerges quickly and you'll likely use the same combination for every stage. Personally, I like to use Bad Girl Reen with the Lilith Elfin, because I just think it's the best costume. Look at her just smack things with a baseball bat. Why does this feel therapeutic? There's really no story here, no reason for our muses to be running to the right. There's no particular destination in mind, just more and more running and cute bad guys to smash. Of course, the game doesn't really need a reason for the girls to run, but I would have liked to have seen some sort of world building here. Something as simple as an evil queen takes over the Muse Dash world with adorable blue and red monsters, and our girls are the only one who can stop her. Something simple like that. But whatever the reason, our girls run to the right, and for a game with only 2 moves, they get a lot of use out of that mechanic. The music tracks are varied, and the designers pull out some really diabolical tricks to always keep you guessing. Speaking of tracks, each song has 3 difficulty levels: easy, hard, and master. Each of those difficulties is also accompanied by a number ranging from 1 being the easiest to 11 being an absolute colorful nightmare. Each of these difficulties also have 1, 2, or 3 extra challenges, like hitting every hold note perfectly or getting fever mode 10 times. You don't earn anything for successfully completing these challenges, but it's there for those who like that sort of thing. There are also game-wide challenges, even some hidden ones that you can check in the main settings screen along with all the other normal stuff. Each song also tracks the normal stats, like your high score, grade, combo, accuracy, and how many times you've cleared it. If you sign in with Google or Facebook, you can compete globally and try to get the all-time high score for each song. It's not something I was personally interested in because, well, come on, look at those scores. Are you kidding me? I can't compete with that. But that's the gameplay of Muse Dash in a nutshell. Run right, hit enemy, look cute, repeat. There's no real investment in that running forward and crushing bad guys, but there doesn't need to be. Each song offers a lot of variety in terms of note patterns, though the longer you play you'll begin to recognize certain patterns. For those who like to chase achievements, they are there, and you can always try to perfect a stage and compete at a global level. Beginner levels are extremely casual and will help you to learn the core mechanics quickly, but the higher levels, like from level 9 and beyond, are just a bit too nuts for my tastes. The middle levels, from around 6 to 8, are the perfect combination of requiring a bit of skill but also being casual enough that I can usually get a full combo. This is a real fun game to pick up and casually play for an hour or two for that very reason. It's difficult enough to be engaging, but easy enough to still be fun. Now, let's talk about the second core mechanic, the visuals. As you can see from the footage, Muse Dash goes with a cute anime style. It looks like something you could see streaming on Crunchyroll, which makes me even more amazed they didn't add some sort of world building to it. Most of the backgrounds are fairly colorful, but not so detailed as to be distracting. The running and attack animations all look fluid and well made. Look at this animation of Budo. It's so cute how she's just about to fall off. However, the main focus is of course on the enemies, who are bright and stand out. What's amazing is, despite their bright colors, they all look distinct and don't bleed into each other, which is important when there are a billion of them on screen at once. It's easy to distinguish which type of enemy it is, and the beat required to hit them. Though sometimes the obstacles do sneak in as they're not as visually striking as the enemies themselves, but it doesn't feel like an oversight in design and more a conscious decision in order to trick up the player and add a little bit more difficulty. There are a variety of stage themes like Candyland, Rainy Night, Castle, etc. Each stage theme has its own set of enemy characters and a boss. There are only about 6 in total without the DLC, which only adds another 1, so sadly the visuals do get a bit samey over time. Luckily, each stage has a variety of enemies within, so it's not the same sprites the whole time, and they come at you in various combinations. It's all very cute and child-friendly, something I'd give a G rating to if it weren't for a few design decisions that I think are a bit, well, off. See for yourself. This is what shows up when you start the game. Seriously? Is that their logo? It just seems a bit too much for me. Some of the costumes are also clear fan service, but push the envelope just a bit too far. It's the sort of thing that I wouldn't want to be caught playing the game by my friends using these characters. Which is a big shame because if not for these little parts, I think the game could find a much wider audience. The fan service doesn't really offer enough to please those who want that sort of thing, but it's also maybe a bit too much for some. If they could just rein in these little parts a bit, I think it would be a better game overall. Don't get me wrong, I'm not against fan service or scantily clad characters. I just don't think it's a good move in this particular instance. I mean, I'm the guy who went out and bought The Vagrant. You know, The Vagrant, the action platformer published by Sakura Game. Hey, why do you think I bought it? It wasn't the compelling storyline. Anyway, despite these issues, overall the game is very cute and visually very appealing. It's colorful and has a clear aesthetic that it's going for. Each song has a cover art that makes them visually distinct and easy to navigate, and many also use the muses in their art. I really like the opening splash screen where you can see the muse you're currently using. You can also click them and they'll say something. Well, they'll say something in Japanese, but there are subtitles at least. Finally, we come to music. As I said at the onset, most rhythm games come with a large variety of music from different genres in an attempt to appeal to everyone, but tend to stick to a basic rock aesthetic. Muse Dash goes a different path, with the vast majority of songs being J-pop. Well, I say J-pop, but many of the tracks seem to originate from Korea and China, but I'm gonna call it J-pop anyway. Sure, some of the songs are faster and some slower, and others a little bit jazzy, but for the most part you're getting high BPM and electronic soundscapes. In the default sound pack, there are over 40 different songs, which is an amazing value considering this game is on sale on Steam for less than $5. You can also purchase the Just As Planned add-on DLC, which unlocks all of the subsequent song packs that have come out and continue to be released for about $25. but the default pack is more than enough to have a great time. Though, if you want to play Brainpower, which somehow wriggles itself into a wide variety of rhythm games these days, you'll need to pony up the cash. I personally love this style of music, so Muse Dash is a perfect fit for me. The sound is fast, the bass is deep, and it gets me pumped to run to the right and smash things. I'm no audiophile, so I can't really say much about music in general, but I think you'll know pretty quickly if this style of music is for you. By the way, all the background music I've played in this video are actually from songs in the default pack. So that's Muse Dash. This is one of those games that I've had for a while now, but I always tend to fall back into it. It's casual and easy to pick up after a break, and the huge selection of songs, not only from the default pack but from the DLC, also ensure that I never really get bored of playing the same tracks. Add in the ridiculous small price tag for the default pack, and this is a great purchase. My only reservation is about the fan service that goes just slightly too far in some areas, but if that sort of thing doesn't bother you, I highly suggest checking it out on Steam. It's been out for a year and a half, and the development team are still making updates and new music packs, so the DLC is also worth it if you find you like the base game. Thank you very much for watching to the end of my video. I stream Muse Dash along with other rhythm and indie games on my Twitch at twitch.com/rstavial. I'd also like to hear your thoughts on Muse Dash. Do you think the DLC is worth the steeper price tag? What about the fan service I mentioned? Do you think it went too far? I'd love to hear what you think below, and I hope to see you all in the next video.